Focused and locked in on the Browns. This was our start. Tough opponent, division game. We understand that what kind of team they are and how physical this game is going to be, and we're preparing for that challenge. What questions do you have?
John, any difficulty in when, last night you go, oh, by the way, you're playing on a short week, having a Saturday game?
No, we knew there's a chance, it could go either way, so we were planning on being here today either way. And then, the next few days would be adjustable. So tomorrow we'll be back in. It'll be like a Wednesday, and we'll be on our normal week schedule that way.
How are you guys feeling? Obviously, a lot made of the 3 games in 11 days, but you come off the bye, you win all 3 of those games decisively as well, and seems like for the most part intact health-wise. I mean, how do you feel about just making it out of that stretch right now?
We feel good about it. I mean, it was a good accomplishment. It was the goal, going into it was to come out of it with that kind of an outcome. So I felt like, we got the outcome we wanted, but we also, within that, we accomplished a lot in terms of improvement. Obviously pointing toward the opportunity in this game and then into the playoffs to be the best team we could be, and we made steps in that direction too. Now we just got to maximize that and play our best football.
You mentioned improving a lot. Obviously, the defense has vastly improved from the start of the year. What do you feel like, some of the things that has been that you guys have been able to do defensively here in the back end of the season, going into the postseason?
Yeah, we're playing solid football. I think we're top down, not giving up as many big plays. The run defense has been pretty consistent. Getting to the quarterback, a little bit better. But the bottom line is the pass defense overall has been a lot better.
John, Charlie Kohler got activated to return, or designated to return. How much does that help you guys, given what you guys are blocking and also receiving?
Yeah, having Charlie back is good. This was kind of the target game, where when it happened. Usually when you have a break like that, it's pretty predictable. So they were telling us that we'd have a good chance for him to be back for the Cleveland game. So we'll see how he looks this week. Hopefully he's feeling good and ready to go.
Toughest divisions in football. How significant is it to be in a situation where you win this week and you win the division?
Very significant. I mean, it's definitely a goal. It's one of our 5 main goals is to win the division from a team perspective, and it's a big deal. It's a tough division. We respect these teams tremendously. I think you saw the games this last weekend. You saw the Bengals. They're still in it. It tells you a lot about the character of the teams in this division. So we know we're going to have a tough game. We always do. We always do against every team in the division. The Browns, we always have these knockdown dragouts with. So, but if we could get it done, it would be a great accomplishment.
Marlon Humphrey was very complimentary of Ardarius Washington, saying, hey, if you ask the players, the training camp after training camp, they'll say he was always one of the best guys in training camp. He's been on a roster bubble, we talked for a long time. But do you recall him as an undrafted guy on radar, or when he first came in that first year? Do you remember? What do you remember of him?
Yeah, he was a highly recruited undrafted free agent. He was a guy that was on the bubble to be drafted. He was a draftable player on our board. So we worked really hard to convince him to come in, and he did. And I think right from the get-go he showed that he was a good player. He's always been one of those guys, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight and the dog kind of guy, and he's always had that fight. And really it's been injuries that set him back over the years. So for him to be healthy now and to get a chance to get in there and show what he can do it's been great to see.
Marlon said he feels like Ardarius has maybe had the most difficult job in the secondary because he's had to really make the team every year. I mean, do you feel like he's a guy who's sort of turned that difficulty into a positive in his career and his life?
I definitely think that. That's exactly right. I mean, he's probably had to overcome that his whole career. All of high school, college, and now the pros, and it's made him who he is. That he's been forged by all those experiences.
John, with Lamar, ever since he got in the league, there's been talks about the sustainability of his style of play. What do you think has been the key? I mean, we're now in year 7 and he's playing better than he's ever has. What do you think has been the key to kind of his sustainability?
Well, I mean, it's just I don't even know why I have to answer that because I was never proposing that theory, So I think the people that were proposing that theory should have to answer it. But he's, what we always thought. He's a smart player, and he knows how to take care of himself, and he always said that. He always said, I know how to take care of myself. I know how to protect myself. And not that he hasn't been injured here and there, you know, like every player, but he's the ultimate competitor. I think he's playing his best football, like you said. He's playing the position at the highest level. Every aspect of the position he's continues to take to another level, take his game to a higher level, and hopefully that continues. I mean, I know it will. I'm counting on it getting even better.
John, kind of for a running back question, how important was it to get Keaton Mitchell some work, like the amount of work he got, and with two of those guys not down sideline, does that become a position you may have to look to get some guy in from this week?
I think I'm just going to refrain from all the speculation about, you know, roster and all that. But the answer is no, they're fine. Justice is just sick, so he'll play. And it's great that Keaton got the time. And then what was the other part of the question?
That was it.
Oh, that was it. Okay. It's very complicated. I couldn't keep track of it. There's many layers.
I know you guys as a franchise pour a lot of resources into injury prevention. To be where you guys are right now, to have as small an injury report as you guys do, knock on wood, how gratifying is that? And just like how much of that experience every year is just kind of dumb luck, how it falls?
Yeah, that's a great question. Probably maybe a better conversation for the end of the season, you know. Up to this point, we're really happy with where we're at with that. I do think a lot of work has gone into it. Got to give the players a lot of credit too, you know, for the work they put in. And then all the people involved in that have done a great job. But it's definitely fueled our success for sure. It's something that is a big deal in the National Football League. So we're happy with it, but hopefully we can keep it going here.
John, earlier in the season, kind of back to Lamar, earlier in the season a lot was made of you saying you thought Lamar was the best player in football at the time. And we look at his development over the years, a lot of people are saying that this is the best he's played. When you go back to him at his rookie year, I'm sure you were always on his side, but did you think that we'd be here, year 8, whatever year this is, and we're still talking about, you know, him continuously ascending?
Well, yeah, I did. I mean, that was the idea. You hope so. I mean, you don't know for sure. I mean, nobody knows the future. But that was the idea when we drafted him, and that was the idea when we played him in the first year, and it's been the idea ever since. So I'd say we're on schedule, but we have a lot to accomplish, you know, with all that. All that's part of it. All that's the history, right? And that'll all be, you know, people that study football history in the National Football League, I'm sure will have these conversations and write about these things and all that. But right now, it's just a matter of kind of trying to make that history, you know, trying to do what we can do to do what we do and try to win the next game and carry it forward from there.
Is he the MVP in your mind this season?
You know, hey, he's my MVP. You know, he'll always be my MVP. I promise you that. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, he's our MVP. He's our guy. But you know what? That's really not what we're thinking about. I mean, I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I haven't heard Lamar talk about it. And we're just trying to win the next game.
John, this 3 games in 11 days, playing on a Wednesday. This is not a roadmap that the league has used before. Who don't we see in your organization that should really get credit for making all that happen and going 3-0?
Oh, it's just everybody. I mean, everybody's involved in that, Bo. It's a team effort for sure. I think a lot of people do a great job. You know, even the travel logistics and all that with Joan and Dan Parsons and Megan and everybody. It's everybody.
Did you hear from anyone around the league after they saw your workout montage on Hard Knocks?
I did. I got a couple of nods. You know, I didn't hear from my brother though. I was kind of disappointed. Yeah. I think he took it as a challenge of some kind.
John, we didn't see Stanley or McCary out there today. Any concern there?
Yeah, they're dealing with some you know, flu-like symptoms and sickness type stuff. They should be back tomorrow.
John, do you have any New Year's resolutions this year?
I don't do New Year's resolutions, you know. Try to stay consistent, you know. That's right.
John, with the uncertainty at quarterback for the Browns, and there's different styles of quarterback that they could throw in there, how much added work does that put in for the coaching staff, you know, at that position when they could go maybe one of 3 different directions?
Well, we'll have to build some tape on the guys that we don't have tape on right now, Zappy. We'll go back and pull some tape from New England and different places, but we won't probably go back to Western Kentucky on him. Won't go back quite that far. But Winston we know, DTR we know, and then him we'll have to prepare for. I do think we'll probably know tomorrow or the next day, I would think. We'll see. Maybe they'll try to keep it under wraps, but whichever way it goes, we're playing the Browns are playing the Ravens, and we'll be ready to go.
John, there's several running backs, I guess, who are going to the playoffs who have made big impacts with new teams this year. What made Derek such a seamless fit for what you guys like to do?
That's a great question. I mean, I think it's just Derek being Derek. Derek Henry, all he had to do was come in here and do what he does and be who he is, and he fit right in, fit like a glove, and like it was always meant to be that way.
All right.
All right, great. Thanks. Okay.